Hey, podcast listeners, thank you for tuning in another amazing episode of What's Your Brand Story. I'm your host, Dills Victoria. As I always say, I'm so grateful for everyone. If you woke up this morning and you're listening to this, be grateful. I have the honor of having an amazing queen on my podcast today, y'all. Yeah, this woman here, she is just a goddess, queen, empress, the whole nine yards. She is such an inspiration to me. I respect her on so many different levels. She's like a sister. She is a sister to me, I should say. And it's just amazing to just watch her evolve and grow in all the things that she's doing as a CEO, as a mompreneur, an entrepreneur. She wears many hats. She is what I call a renaissance woman. She be doing all the things. So her name is Lia Magras, and she is such an inspiration to so many people. And I wanted to bring her on a podcast to not only talk about her business, but talk about who she is as a person and to share her story because it's very empowering. And I know that you guys are going to get a lot of information. Like I always say, have a notebook and a pen. Go back and watch the replay and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Leah. It's nice to have you, Queen.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Goddess. I truly appreciate it. I'm definitely
Yep.
grateful. And, I just love the opportunity to be able to share my story in a safe space. That matters.
Absolutely.
And I know I
This
get
is
that with
definitely. Oh, all the time. It's a safe space. Like I said before we started, you can cuss on here, be your authentic self, and so on and so forth. So, can you tell people who is Leo McGrath?
Well, Leah Magras, as you can see, my favorite
It says
position is
my favorite
CEO.
position is CEO.
See it there. Okay. I am a Caribbean woman. I call myself a daughter of the Caribbean, a survivor of a great diaspora. I am a mix and blend of multiple ethnicities, and with that comes multiple experiences in this life and past. And so, I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to be able to bring that forward. I definitely have found my calling as a multipreneur. I own two businesses. I'm CEO of both, Lia
Mhm.
Magras Coaching as well as Strategic HRM. And Lia Magras Coaching is specifically a premier coaching firm. I focus heavily on the use of strategic visioning. And that's long term planning for being able to set goals and aspirations in a very authentic, strategic way. It's
Mhm.
very objective, and I've coined what I call the badass McGrath method, tried and true. It's worked for me. And what I do is I use this methodology to support top tier C suite executives, entrepreneurs on their success journey. So, what does that look like? I help them to actually self actualize beyond their purpose, their vision, and their limitless potential to just really own the badass in them. And then for Strategic HRM, it's a boutique business consulting company. It supports clients both in the US Virgin Islands as well as in Florida. We are starting to go nationwide, which is pretty exciting. And we really home in on the alignment of organizational development, compliance, and HR. And we do that to ensure that the clients that we work with have sustainability for their organization as well as expansiveness for their bottom line. So that's the focus for that. Now, beyond that, beyond the business, we talked about work. Let's get into life. So, in the lifing things, I'm also a mom. I have a 16-and-a-half-year-old man. I'm not gonna say
Where?
boy,
Where?
teenager, nothing, because he's walking around here with that voice booming. He's taller than me, so I'm looking up. He wears a size 13 shoe. Anyway,
You ain't
his
ready.
name is
You ain't ready.
Jaden, and I am super proud of him. He's super intelligent. He's doing all the things, so I'm very proud of him. I'm also a
Oh.
dog mom. I have two Shih Tzus, Cupid who's 7, Liam who's 2, and yeah, I'm also a foodie.
Mm,
I'm an avid learner. I am definitely obsessed with nails.
I
I
see.
love to be able to work from home. Always, always.
Mhm.
I love to work from home, so I'm a pajama junkie, no lie.
Mhm.
I also absolutely love dancehall reggae.
Mhm.
Absolutely love it with a passion.
Mhm.
And my nickname from the time I was about 14 years old has been Lioness. So it's always resonated with me, like that fierceness, that confidence, that boldness of lions and lionesses, the whole sense of community. That's, you know, the
Your
scope of what a
tribe, your
pride
pack.
is and what we stand
Mhm.
for. And exactly. And then I also am a very spiritual chick. I know I'm a starseed goddess of ancient times. I accept it wholeheartedly and I integrate it into all that I do. I love coffee, specifically Life Boost. I just had to
Oh,
shout that out. I can't sing to save my life, but I am a bomb shower singer, let me tell you.
That part.
And beyond all of that, what really fuels me, what really, floats my boat, what fulfills me to no end is creating impact and being able to develop success and empower others to be successful. So I would say if I had an addiction, it's the
Hmm.
impact and success.
I
So
love
that's
that.
who I
I
am.
love that.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. It just flowed authentically through you just now. Just natural, engaging, like all of the things. So, when did you know that this was your calling? When did you answer that call?
Honestly, I've always known that my calling to empower others was there from the time I was a little girl. Like things would happen, they would go down in the schoolyard, and I'm the one that's like they're talking to the person that's the victim and, trying to get them through the situation of the bully and whatever experience they had. Like literally, from there, as I transitioned through high school, I was helping others study for the SAT. I would hold like SAT accountability groups, like where we would be checking in. We would be letting each other know how much we've done, setting goals, and just, really keeping each other on target. Then I helped a lot of my peers at the time apply for college. I helped
Mm,
them with their applications, I helped them with their essays, from assisting with the writing to the proofreading and so on. So I've just always really felt fulfilled with empowering others. So naturally, I've gone into the fields of human dimension, so HR, and incidentally now coaching. And
mm-hmm,
the way I ended up in coaching, again, incidentally, it was really organic from the perspective that I've been working with leaders to consult
mm-hmm,
on higher level strategic planning.
mm-hmm,
And a lot of the areas that I found that they were stuck was on vision. They could not really get past where they wanted to go. And as a result, they couldn't plan how to get there
mm-hmm,
or who they had to be to get there.
mm-hmm,
And it also impacted, or I should say, they recognize and we recognize in conversations that they really weren't even clear on a vision for themselves. They weren't even clear
mm.
on whether they wanted to be in the position they were in. If they truly
Wow.
believed or were invested in the culture of the organization, if their purpose was something different. So we found ourselves into tangential conversations where I actually found systemically we're at the core of why they were having so many issues, even within the position they were in.
Right.
So it was like a natural coaching that was occurring. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I really fell passionately in love with doing this. This is where
Wow.
I realized that my purpose laid. And so as a result, I stepped out on faith and I recently started Lia Magras coaching. And so now I'm officially doing this as a profession, but
Mm-hmm.
ultimately as the impact that I want to create, not just for my people here in the Caribbean, but globally.
That's beautiful. Again, it just rolls off your tongue naturally, guys. She was over here like, I'm so nervous to do the podcast, blah 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 blah, blah. And she just talking away. I'm over here just like listening, like, yeah,
Well,
So,
that's what I preach. So I got to practice it, right? As a
yeah,
badass, you have to show up authentically as who you are. So here I am, all laid out, cards on the table.
exactly. So, what is your definition of a brand story?
So I would say a brand story is a culmination of transformational experiences that, for me, experiences that
Mm-hmm.
I've endured that brought me to where I am today, where I'm actually able to show up again in that authentic space with the confidence, the resilience, the lessons that I've learned, all with the
Mm-hmm.
intentions, again,
Mm-hmm.
to empower others, which is in alignment with my purpose.
Yeah.
So, all that I've been through,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, is my tried and true experience as my brand.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, I can show up credibly, I can show up authentically, and that doesn't change. I am consistently who I am, as I say I am, and by example. And I think that that matters most, especially when you're building a client coaching relationship.
It does.
Um, you have to be able to have that degree of relatability, of
Mm-hmm.
relevance, of even sociocultural sensitivity to be able to create that rapport, to have that strong
Mm-hmm.
relationship, to be successful in helping that individual push themselves forward to their goals, and for you to be successful as the coach in, supporting them in doing so and fostering that ability. So, yeah,
Nice,
that's what
nice
I believe.
answer. Yeah, I always tell clients it's about evoking emotions and building those connections in authentic space by sharing who you are, your authentic self, because that's what people want to know. They want to know how you got from point A to point Z. What was that, middle space where overcoming struggle, how'd you overcome the struggle, how were you able to deal with things, and so on and so forth, and what was your transformation like. They want to know that part. They don't care about how many houses you got, how many cars you got. They want to know how to help them to get to that feeling of peace and euphoria and joy from them going through what they're going through, heartbreak, suffering, depression, whatever it is that they're experiencing at the moment. They want to know that sweet spot, like what is the juiciness of how you're able to handle it. And so for me, that's why I
Right.
always tell people, like, you gotta get into that. So as far as your experiences and your business, how has all of this transformed you as a woman, as a person?
Well, I will say that, you know, as I as I really reflect on it,
Mm-hmm.
I've been through a variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
Being who I am, coming from the Caribbean, we have a variety of sociocultural stigmas, as anywhere does. And so I have allowed for a very long time that aspect to really hinder my
Mm-hmm.
ability to realize my limitless potential, and the fact that it is limitless, and there's no destination, there's no end, there's no means to end, none of that I can truly live in this space where I'm constantly successful, doing the
Mm-hmm.
things that I love, doing the things that bring me joy,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the
Mm-hmm.
context. Because at the end of the day, I get to take ownership of my situation and my circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
And that means taking control of the things I can control. And the only things I can control are those internal things, right?
Yep.
Things are going to always happen. Things are going to always be contextually the case. But as long as I can take ownership and I can control the things that matter, my emotions, my reactions, the way I think about things, my mindset, thought processes, then I know that I will always be able to push through and transcend whatever the situation is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just taking it a step back, I am in this space now, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's taken some time, it's taken some experiences to get here, struggles, pain, time, etc. Um, Back in 2017, I actually lost a business to Hurricane Maria in St.
Mm-hmm.
Croix when I was living there. It was my home at the time. And I felt really lost after that because I had fully self identified with the business. I hadn't really owned who I was authentically outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
So when that occurred, I felt like I lost myself. And
Mm.
with that mindset, with losing myself, then I lost my confidence. I lost my ability to show up as the strong, courageous, just, determined, resolved in who I am, Lia. And that caused me to spiral. I found myself in a rut. I was 360 pounds. I was pre diabetic, anxiety, diagnosed with anxiety, depression, chronic highs, not to mention I was highly uncomfortable for about a year and a
Oh
half, had to be
man.
on a special diagnosed, very expensive medication, Zolair at the time. It was a lot. It was a lot to deal with. And I got to the point, honestly, of disgust. It was
Mm-hmm.
January 7th. I remember it clearly, 2019. I literally woke up that morning in St. Petersburg, Florida, in the little house I was staying in with my son, because at the time, me and my husband were geographically separated. He had to return back to the US Virgin Islands to be able to
Mm-hmm.
continue to provide and support. Um, and so I was, running for so long from coming back home to those sociocultural stigmas I spoke about,
Yep.
that
Mm-hmm.
I was allowing myself to drown in the current situation that I was in.
Mhm.
However, intuitively, and this is why, though I am a very logical person and I am very objective and I believe in reasoning and rationale when it comes to making decisions, I also believe in having the awareness and the
Mhm.
discernment of your intuitive ability to make decisions. And so I draw on both. It has to not only make sense, it has to feel good.
Mhm.
And so I woke up on January 7th, 2019, and I had decided it was time to move back to the US Virgin Islands.
Mhm.
I was no longer running scared. Running scared of what now I realize was guilt of leaving when
Mhm.
I should have been here to help support and help uplift and help empower during the circumstance. Shame for
Mhm.
losing the business, not having the backup plan. I've always promoted sustainability and, all of these things. So there were just so many layers of emotion there that I had been running from. And I finally, on that day, decided to own it. And
Yes.
as a result, I moved back home. And, they say, or maybe I say this, ultimately, you can't heal. You cannot fully heal holistically from the wounds created unless you go back to the place in which they were actually started. You
Confront.
can you cannot fully recover unless you get to the systemic issue, right? We go to the doctor to get to the systemic issue to find out what's going on and why all these things are surfacing, right?
Mhm.
I have to come back home to
Oh wow.
really understand and be willing to do so, be open to do so, because I had been closed off for so long.
Mhm.
And so I came home in that mind space. And with that, I picked myself up. I made the decision to start, taking hold of my nutrition. I started eating better. I lost 70 pounds on the keto diet. After
Mhm.
that, I made a decision to pursue a tool. And that's what I see it as. I had a vertical sleeve gastrectomy July 20th, 2020. And that was the best decision of my life. And as a result, for the first time,
Wow.
I've been able to take off the weight, keep off the weight. And I probably weigh as much as I did at age 9.
Wow.
Right. That's the reality. Um, And then, with that too, I decided I recognize I've always been an avid learner. This is who I am. You check my Clifton Strengths results, you'll see learners at the top. That's always
Yes.
been who I am. If I could be paid to learn, I would.
Mhm.
And so I pursued all the things I knew that would be an investment in me rather than a sacrifice. Because at that point in
Mhm.
time, that's what I started looking at it as. It was abundance if it was an investment, it was scarcity if it was a sacrifice. But if I leaned into the abundance and I pursued the MBA and I started to step out of my comfort zone and I started to reach out into the community on LinkedIn and other channels to set informational interviews with individuals that were leaders here doing the things that I wanted to be able to do, setting
Mhm.
those connections, building that network, that really placed me in a situation where I finally started to feel confident because I had done the work to ground me how I needed to. So
Right.
it was not just, these were transformational efforts,
Mhm.
transfigurational efforts.
Mhm.
And it was definitely a holistic approach. Born, bred, baptized, communion, confirmation, Catholic school, graduated from Catholic high school, everything, right?
Right.
And so I finally recognized that that void, what was missing was that
Mhm.
component of spirituality. And when I
Mhm.
really started to tap into the goddess in me and leaned
Mhm.
into spirituality, I recognized that this validation that I have been looking for my entire life is not external as you're
Mhm.
taught in various religions. It's rather internal because I have that deep connection to universe, source, spirit, whomever, God,
Mhm.
call this entity. And as a result, I recognize that I have everything within me that I need.
I
And I
shaded
just
that.
seek it outwardly. And that gave me the strength to be able to push forward and
Mhm.
to come into a space of, you know, surrender, but surrender from the perspective of peace and calm. It was
Mhm.
an epiphany. And then with that came the sense of knowing. Like now I'm not necessarily expecting, but I know enough because I have the
Mm-hmm.
basis of these tools. I have the basis of this internal strength. I have this connection to source
Mm-hmm.
that I know what my purpose is. I know what my vision is. And as a result, I know I'm going to get there. I don't
Absolutely.
know what the pathway is going to look like. I don't know what the journey is going to look like, but I am committed to that journey
Mm-hmm.
with an unending, fearless, steadfast. I'm not going to say narrow because you have to pivot here and there, but very
Exactly.
hyper focused on knowing that empowerment and impact is what I want to be able to create, and I want to be able to own success for myself. And so,
Mm-hmm.
all the things that I have done, all the things that I'm doing, and all the things that I want to be able to do for others always come back to that.
That's
And
a
so,
beautiful thing.
yeah, so just taking it back, I've been through some things, but I'm not letting those things hinder me from what I know now wholeheartedly
Mm-hmm.
is the path that I'm supposed to be on.
That's beautiful. And it's so amazing that you were able to pretty much reflect on all of those things and come up with this truth and awakening and awareness and consciousness of the self. And I love when you say tried and true, because that's just like I lived it. This is the formula for it. Try it. It's the truth. You know what I mean? That kind of way. And it's really awesome. So what is one compliment or review that a client's given you to confirm what you're doing is what you're aligned to do?
That I have empowered them to step out of their comfort zone. And
Mm.
that is what matters to me more than anything. I have had clients that tell me they've doubled or tripled their clients as a result of the work that we're doing. I've had clients that tell me that their profit has increased. I've had clients that tell me, oh, they can travel more because now they've figured out their timing and their schedule. And all of that matters. And all of that is beautiful. But when
Yeah.
you can push someone out of their comfort zone to do something that they have not been able to do because they
Mm-hmm.
have been so restricted by fear,
Mm-hmm.
that to me is everything because that means you have now grown. You've
Mm-hmm.
grown beyond where you were, you have transcended, and you are well on your way to living in your limitless potential, which is exactly what my focus is.
Yeah.
And that's what fulfills me. It's
Mm-hmm.
being able to show up every day, doing the things that matter to me, doing the things that matter to them, and
Mm-hmm.
still have it amount to that victorious experience that they want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that was the best review I've ever had is
Yeah.
having someone push beyond their comfort zone so that they actually grow because now they're in a new space of being.
Instead of doing and having, it's in the being.
Exactly.
I got you. I'm with it. So, can you tell us, like, what are your services? Do you have any special offers or anything you got going on right now?
Yeah. So right now, I am, as I mentioned, I recently started Lia Magras coaching. So I'm in the process of launching my Envisioning the Badass in You program. So this is the first program that I'm going to offer. It's a video module course, 12-week program that's going to take you deep into the areas of authenticity and strategic planning and really owning that success is infinite. So you're going to learn the strategies, you're going to learn the tools that have been proven to work for me as well as my other clients, and figuring out how to integrate those in ways to not only sustain but expand beyond, again, into your limitless potential. And so my aim is for this to the first cohort to kick off end of year or start of 2025. And I am right now offering the opportunity for individuals to join my waitlist. And so, if anybody is interested in joining my waitlist, if you are a leader that is out here and that is, very passionate about the things you do and the things that you're meant to do, but you're kind of in a space that you're not necessarily sure which direction to go in, then this would be the ideal program for you. And so anyone interested could either email me at leah@leahmagras.com, or if on Instagram, DM me, on Facebook, you can message me badass, and I will get you to join the wait list. And then with that, any updates that come, you would be the first to know with regards to launch date, as well as how to get started and registered.
Good stuff. I'll put putting all of your links into the description box, so you're good. They'll get all your stuff.
That sounds
So,
like a
but thank you.
plan. But just letting
Yes.
everyone know the website is under construction. So I ask everyone to bear with me, be patient. I appreciate you. But that doesn't mean that communication then stops, right? So ultimately,
Right.
any questions, any interests, you can again email me directly. I am super responsive, and I will
Cheers.
definitely get back to you right away. Leah@leahmagras.com.
Good stuff. So before we end this, do you have any words of encouragement for aspiring entrepreneurs or womenpreneurs that want to start a business and they want to incorporate who they are with their authenticity? What would you offer?
Just do it. Literally, Nike said it best. Just do it. Don't get caught up in the perfection. Don't get caught up in the what if or the what could. Own the I get to. You are
Mm-hmm.
at this space because you have the opportunity to be able to pursue it. If it was not your calling, you would not have the access, you would not have the tools, you would not have the resources, the time would not have presented. At the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, just do it. Take ownership and do it scared if you have to. Jump all in and really own the concept of success from the perspective that it is a right. It's
Mm-hmm.
not something that you're going to be out here trying to obtain. It is literally a right and it is yours already. And the difference between your ability to fully embrace and experience it is the decisions you make, the choices you make, the actions you take, and the people, places, and things that you engage with. So be
Mm-hmm.
mindful, be intentional, and go for it.
Thanks. I love that. All right, so you heard it here first. Leah Magras, she is just doing the dang thing. I told you she was going to drop some gems and nuggets and all that stuff there. I'm over here just like taking mental like, okay, she said this and this and this. So thanks once again for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you, podcast listeners. Till next time, remember always to be grateful for all of the things and to take a leap of faith and do your best in all that you do in life. And we are talk to you later. Talk to you guys soon. Later. Bye.